Rage 2's post-apocalyptic world is the perfect precursor for Doom Eternal coming out later this year, and if you enjoy this type of shooter, I think Rage 2 delivers. Now, the important thing here with Rage 2 to understand is it will not be a title for everybody. I was lucky enough to get a copy early from Bethesda so I could check it out on the PC for you guys and bring you some gameplay. So here's the main takeaway points. Rage 2 we've talked about here before. It is a semi-open world title in which you're in a post-apocalyptic world, you're given a huge sandbox and a lot of different weapons and abilities to choose from in order to tackle the enemies and the different factions within the game how you choose. The game's introduction, I will tell you guys, is pretty darn average. I will say the first 45 minutes of the game was very disappointing in contrast with the latter hours. I think the amount of freedom you have in this game and these teams that are coming together here are really a perfect match made in heaven for Rage and for this universe. However, like I said, it's not a fit for everybody. So I am going to show you some live gameplay today of what it kind of looks like, the normal gameplay loop in Rage 2. And I picked a spot very early in the beginning of the campaign, so there's really no big spoilers. I mean, if you're totally into the lore of Rage and you want nothing, you can skip it. But here's the main deal. The gunplay is so good. It feels fantastic. You can tell that id put their expertise to work here. The actual, open world stuff where you're in the vehicles and it feels a little bit like Mad Max, you definitely can tell Avalanche Studios' expertise coming together in that direction. Now, this is a very mature game. This is not an E or a T game. It's definitely a mature game with that kind of language and that kind of content. So not something you're going to play on the living room in front of your family, unless your family's like, yo, that's pretty heavy metal. I like that. That's sick. The soundtrack, pretty darn rockin'. It sounds a lot like Doom. And I will say, if you're looking for a good summer FPS game, I've been pretty pleased so far. But do please take a look at the gameplay, see what it feels like, and if it matches and hits a stride with you and you're like, yo, that resonates with me, it's absolutely worth checking out. I will show off some more Rage impressions once I've been able to get through the whole campaign, but a lot of people did not get codes until just about 24 hours ago. So I don't want to give you guys any impressions before I've gone through the whole thing. The early hours of the game, pretty darn fun. So check this out and I'll see you guys in the next one. So we're pretty early on within the game. I don't want to say how early on, so there's zero spoilers, but we are definitely less than like 3 hours into the main grind. And I wanted to show you a little bit about Rage 2 and what you can kind of expect. Even though the gameplay does evolve and get a lot better further down the road, I reloaded an earlier save so that we could check out some of this stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to one of the arcs and get a new ability. And then we're going to go engage and meet one of the first NPCs in the game so you can get an idea of what the quest structure kind of looks like in this. Now, Rage 2 is put together by Avalanche Studios alongside the partnership with id that we have talked about here on the channel before. If you guys know Avalanche Studios from either Just Cause or Mad Max, you will definitely recognize a lot of similarities between Mad Max, especially in the vehicle combat, which is pretty rad. So you can, steal their bikes, steal their vehicles, or you can just go at it. Now, this game is pretty sick, so I'm just gonna let the gunplay speak for itself. And we don't have a ton of the abilities just yet. As the game goes on longer and longer, very similar to Doom, you kind of accumulate more weapons, more awesome ways to take down your opponents, and just more mayhem entirely. The game is full of crazy mayhem. We've now entered that rage mode. Let's grab that container there. Oh, no good. Nice. I keep wanting to pull out the different weapons. Ah! That's crazy. Oh, the explosion in this game are really sick too. Just keep coming, dude. Yeah, let's throw our doohickey thing out there. Nobody's next to that crate, but I wanted to do it anyway. It is definitely a mature game. You can see that. There is a little thrust mechanic. Oh, an arc chest. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Okay, let's grab the supplies. So these arc chests are scattered throughout the land, not this one, but the thing behind it. Come on, do the thing. There we go. And each of these little arc pod thingies. Yes, nano-right ability upgrades. Got it. Thank you, tutorials. Arc chest. Yes, got it. Upgrade currencies. These right here, these are the arcs. And inside of them are the new abilities. They're like short little tutorials that walk you through the new and different abilities that you get within the game. Like defibrillator, the ground pound, the slide. I guess I should say the dash. And this may look familiar to people who played Doom 2016. Here's the crab jump. Let's try their motorcycle. I don't know, I kind of like my Mad Max vehicle a little bit more. I'm probably going to stick with that. Whoa! Okay, alright, no questions asked.
Systems activating.
The car's got kind of some smirky voice lines. Okay, so now we're going to go meet the main NPC for this first area. And you can upgrade your car too. There's all sorts of different abilities that you can have for your vehicle. Extra armor plating, lots of ways that you can customize it. I have used this out. This outpost was used in the trailer. The explosions in this game are very satisfying. Destroy all the fuel containers. All right, there's a typo. I love it. Makes me feel better when I have typos at my work. Whoa, man. Not polite at all. Be kind. Rewind, sir. Soundtrack's pretty sick, dude. Give me the Okay, keep going. Driving feels really good. It's one of those games where you drive enough that I kind of want to play it on a controller, but it feels pretty good on PC. I do want to show you guys. Oh, friendlies. Sorry, bros. I want to show you one thing here. On the keyboard and mouse settings, the ADS sensitivity and normal sensitivity are different, and it's very hard to get them to feel one-to-one. Took me a while to get to this point. And what I mean by that is when I ADS, I generally don't want it to be slower than my normal hip fire. Some people, that's not a big deal. For me, it is kind of a big deal, and I think it's kind of disappointing that they don't end up having just a little tick box there. Maybe it's something that's like in the the iron out file that you could edit, but... All right, let's keep rolling. This car reminds me a little bit of like Knight Rider. It's a good-looking game. I guess it depends on your preferences visually. I think it looks pretty good, but it also has some segments that are very single tone, very one-tone-ish. So let's go meet John Marshall here in Gun Barrel. This game has a weird, sick sense of humor. It's almost Borderlands-y in that sick sense of humor, but at the same time, too, it's a little bit over the top. If anybody wanted to read that lore, I apologize. I literally was just picking it up for,
Let's trade some words before you head in.
Hey, dude.
Oh, you're new. This is the Dud Primer. Best watering hole in Gun Barrel. Big crowd, rowdy crowd. Marshall trusts me to keep said crowd in check. Name's Soul TV.
Don't worry, I'm not here to start any shit.
Good for your face. Now you do look like the action-loving kind.
Good for your face. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry, dude. I'm done with that, dude. I want to use that in real life. Good for your face, bro.
Now I'm telling you, that's bad intel, Gulo.
Gimme just need a tiny gulp, Marsh.
No, you don't get true swill if you don't give true talk.
I speak the day's true, Marsh. Violence destroyed.
Yeah, right. Blown right to shit by mega bad tech mutants. I ain't biting, Gulo. You're just looking for a free fix to swill here.
Vineland is gone.
See? I was talking true.
Don't slug it all at once. Ranger, huh? Oh, I haven't seen a ranger here in a long time.
John Marshall, legendary resistance fighter, war hero. We grew up on stories about this guy. I gotta admit, I was expecting something more impressive.
Seems impossible. Vineland's defenses were impenetrable.
So we all thought. We weren't ready for them. We weren't ready for the authority.
They're back then. I'm guessing you'll hear about the Dagger Project. Problem is, we're under a whole different kind of siege here. Muties. They're clogging up our power turbine in the sewers. Now, if someone was to take care of that...
If that's what it takes to get Dagger online, show me what to kill and where.
You catch on fast. I sent down every rent-a-killer who walked in here, but they all end up dead.
It won't take long.
Okay. So you kind of get the idea. That's our main scenario quest. There's 2 more of those NPCs and 2 more of those main hubs. So as I was saying, you know, 2 more of those towns. If you really want to just beeline it towards the main scenario quest, you're going to beat the game a lot quicker than they probably intended. It's one of those open world kind of Far Cry style games where they really want you to just have fun, play out in the environment, and do a bunch of the side stuff, I feel like. All right, let's head down into the sewers.
There's an underground stream down in these old sewers. We hooked it up to a turbine generator. Makes us completely independent. As in, we got our own power supply. We don't have to buy no feltride from greedy traders fixing the market, playing dirty. Mother Nature provides.
And how's that working out for you?
Well, apart from the occasional wrench in the works, like, say, a beauty infestation clogging up the turbine, we're good. We got our own juice. Plus, there's always a gun for hire to do the jobs if things go south.
That's what I am? A hired gun?
Hell no. You're a ranger, and that's a whole different enchilada. Whole lot spicier and meatier.
Just making sure, Marshall. Just making sure.
Okay, so I have no idea what I was saying beforehand. Oh, the color scheme. Color scheme was a really active choice by them. That was something that they were intentional about, wanting to really spruce up the colors. Make it not look so drab, because if you played the original Rage, it was pretty gray and pretty brown. In terms of the movement, I wouldn't say it feels Doom 2016-like in all of its ways, but in some ways it does feel kind of Doom-like. Not quite on the same level, because Doom 2016 is like just flawless in my opinion.
Just sitting there.
Look at that.
Oh yeah. Maybe you got the nanotrite config it takes. See if you can't get it to open sesame for you.
Open sesame.
For security scanning. Security scanning complete. Welcome to ARC 402A.
It's an Arc-Tech shotgun. Oh man, I've only seen these in old holologs.
So you remember I was talking about Doom?
Good.
Look how it just flares out. That's so rad.
Sequence completed.
That's so cool,
Use
dude.
the combat shotgun's overdrive against the
I do think, like
simulated
all
enemies.
games, I press the N key just like I'm playing Apex Legends. Dude, oh, that's pretty fun. That's where this game is honestly, I think, at its best, is when you're in fights, attacking enemies, and just getting into the action. In the fight, when you're in the fight. I'm not a big fan of the, the voice acting or the story stuff. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not. It's not at the focal point, especially when it evokes all these things, emotions for like Doom 2016. I just remember how good Doom was at getting you into the action and keeping you in that action. Like, you know what I mean? Check this out. The explosions in the game are so wicked, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Good stuff, dude. Little Gears of War-esque here. Performance-wise, it's running pretty well. I'm on a 1080 Ti and an i7 6700K in this particular machine. I have heard on the consoles that if you are playing on the original Xbox or PlayStation 4, not a Pro or an X, it can be a little slow down at spots. I think on the Pro and on the X1X, they run 1080p. I could be wrong with that. I'm playing this at 1440p here for YouTube. I find, you know, as much as I would love to get into the 4K world for videos, no supply crate come back. Oftentimes with like brand new PC releases, frame rate matters a whole lot more to me, especially with FPS titles. And so if, you know, I can't hold a steady 60 FPS at 4K or whatever, I don't really want to go to that. It's also insane, the kind of like PC and stuff that you have to have for video editing. Like, I guess it's not insane, it just adds oh my goodness, it adds a whole lot more time. It adds a lot more time to the renders and the edit. It's just hefty. That's sick, dude. I like the pinks and the purples and the crazy colors, to be honest. I know when I did my video about 3 reasons to be excited for Rage 2, some people were not hyped on it. But honestly, I think it's so much nicer than the way the original looked. Did I forget to reload this? Oh yeah, I did. Can I throw something? Can I throw it up there? Almost, I think. Sound design's pretty great. It sounded like the Grenier, didn't it? Any of you Warframe players, like I sounded a little bit like the Grenier. Whoa! Dang, dude. Oh, is it another one? Yeah, it is. So you have a weapon wheel, as you can see. More weapons to come further along. Alright, we'll use health infusion here. I do find that the game's a little stingy on ammo in the beginning stages of the game, which is sort of weird for this title that seems all about like moving and shooting and just getting into the action. Okay, going here.
Reach the turbine. Like you said, it's gummed up with some nasty mutant goo.
Yeah, you made it all the way down to Muty Central and you're still standing. Outstanding work, Ranger. Now you just need to find the lid and crack it open, and you can flush it out.
So what do you think's gonna happen when we do that, guys? Bet you can't guess. Oh man, I probably said this at the... Yep. I probably said this at the start of the video, but the beginning of the game is so painfully slow. Like the first 40 minutes of the game are just irritatingly slow. I hope that hits. Oh, it did hit. Cool. That it doesn't reflect kindly on the rest of the game, unfortunately, because it is a really sick game, dude. But the opening act was very lackluster.
Ranger, there are 2 switches in
Oh, he's
total.
gone.
You gotta
Okay.
flip them both.
Cool. There are some really big bosses in this game too, like size-wise, some huge enemies. Oh, not good. That was bad. Oh, it's going horrible now. There we go. Thank you, games with Mantle. It's funny, like a few years ago, FPS games don't need Mantle, and now I really like it's programmed into me. It's a lot like Sprint, like when you go and play a game that doesn't have Sprint anymore. That feels like the one. Oh. Okay.
Okay, it's starting to unclog. What now?
Once it's all flushed, you close the lid. That'll reboot the turbine.
Alright, where are the enemies at? Close it now or get the enemies? Probably get the enemies. I think I'm about to get attacked. Sound design's sick in this game, dude.
Hey, we got power. Can't believe
Nobody
we
saw
made it.
those first two shots.
Those were some tough beauties, Ranger. You cut through them like butter.
I did. But now I want to get the hell out because this place stinks worse than a grunt barrack septo tank.
Well, it shouldn't be too hard. There's an old service elevator down there. Leads directly into my armory.
Ooh. The wing stick's pretty cool.
Project Dagger. Now that's one for the books. It was me, Doc Cavassier, Lusum Hagar, and your own Sergeant Prowley. You know Sergeant Prowley.
She raised me, made me into the killing machine I am today.
I figured. You have that, extra something about you. Like you've been trained by the meanest and the best.
She didn't make it. She was killed in the attack.
I'm sorry to hear. That explains why you're here, I guess. Filling in for Prowley.
Whatever it takes to crush the authority.
Amen. By the way, what's your handle?
Call me Walker.
Walker it is.
All right, so with that, I think that's a good demonstration here of Rage 2 so far. As you can see, all the zones are fairly decently sized, so there's quite a bit to do. Lots of races, tons of side quests, different locations too, and it's not just all one big desert. I will say, I think the starting area kind of looks very much Rage 1, where it's kind of gray and deserty, but for the most part, I've noticed a lot of different palettes and stuff like that. Seems like a pretty cool game so far. I will give you guys my full impressions once I have completed it later on this week or next. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by thumbsing it up, subscribe to the channel, hit the alarm bell, follow me over on Twitter at BBKDRAGOON. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk with you again very soon.